Hey everyone, it's baze.djunkiii transmitting from Hamburg, Germany, back with a new video. And yeah, it's like mid-month again, kind of, and I managed to shoot my chart haul video for February 2K17, and I managed not to wait until the end of the month, so you can see my favorite like records and CD releases, and also a tape like a little earlier this time. And we're gonna go straight into this with a release on Sofa Music on the Norwegian label you've seen here before. Morrison Karpatklocke. I guess at least this is the pronunciation of the project's name, which gets its name from a certain kind of clay that dries out, like usually when there's a puddle of water and the water like evaporates and the clay is still like a little bit moist and stuff, and then starts to dry up. There forms a specific kind of stone, which is like in Norwegian, because it's a Norwegian label and a Norwegian project, is called morrison, I guess. And the whole concept of the album deals with the unpredictability of like how a flower seed cracks through these kind of specific stone when it starts to bloom and to grow and stuff. And the music is pretty experimental, as you can say. It deals with a lot of like fissures and like cracks and crackles and stuff. Very experimental music. A little bit of clicks and cuts in here as well. And yeah, if you're into experimental electronic music and you know the Sofa Music label, which is like putting out a wide variety of stuff, this is interesting for you for sure. And there's another Sofa release these days, totally different artwork. Microtop, Bite of the Orange. It's also a trio. There's a cover. There's the back. And I totally love the like 70s minimalistic art kind of cover. 3 artists on here, and what they do is they form a trio and they all play the tuba in a microtonal way, as they put it, and create like a kind of organic ambient from like long extended tuba tones and the layering of these tones. So this is more a chill release, listening music in a more relaxing way, and not that like advanced as the predecessor by Morrison, but pretty good stuff. Totally love the artwork. Microtop, Bite of the Orange, also on Sofa Music from Norway. The next one you've seen in the unboxing video, Splinter Orchestra Mango on Split Records.com. Interesting concept as well, because the Splinter Orchestra went on a road trip from, I guess, from Adelaide to Melbourne, or the other way around, from Melbourne to Adelaide. I don't know, I don't remember. But what they did is they like drove through the Australian desert, and they stopped at 3 points in the specific desert in the Mungo National Park, which is why the CD is entitled, or is named Mungo, definitely. And what they do is they bring classical and neoclassical music into a new context and into new places. So what happens here is the musicians scatter throughout a specific space in the desert, and like people with like recording microphones walk through the people, and then they record the sound of the desert and the atmosphere, as well as the musicians playing near or far in the distance, and then they wander around these musicians and with several microphones, and then they layer the recordings. And so you got a very fractured, interesting way of like perceiving neoclassical orchestra music. And sometimes they scatter like in a radius of like 50 meters or so, so you can, at one point you can hear just the steps of the person recording, the musicians wandering from one to another, and or circling the musicians or whatever. So 3 CD piece in this album box, and nearly like 2.5 hours of playtime. Interesting concept, and like a interesting approach to neoclassical music for a reason. Also one you've seen in an unboxing video, so I'm just showing this in a short way. BV Dubs, Yours Are Stories of Sadness on the Sound and Silence label from Greece. And as expected, because I remembered the BV Dub name, this is, well, this is not dub techno, but this is more the ambient electronica kind of side of the producer BV Dub. Very beautiful music, definitely not new in terms of how ambient sounds, but definitely good one, limited to 300 BVWs are stories of sadness on the label Sounds in Silence. Last CD for this time, Olivia Louvel, I don't know how to pronounce the name, Data Regina. There's a CD, very beautiful. I've posted like a shot of this artwork, the computer matrix thing, on my Instagram as well. And yeah, on her own label, Catwork Imprint. Olivia Louvel is more of a conceptual artist, kind of, and with this album, Data Regina, she deals with the fact that there have been two queens reigning over England and Scotland in the 16th century. Queen Mary of the Scots and I guess Queen Elizabeth I. If I mess up the name, the historical facts, bear with me. I just can't remember at this point. And so she was very fascinated with one of the Queen's work in terms of also like prosaic writing and stuff. And so she creates what I call a kind of like sonic theater piece, kind of. So she like electronica textures and stuff, and a very distinct use of vocals, very interesting. If you're a fan of Björk, you definitely might like this. And this is more like a sonic journey throughout the medieval days, executed with a very modern approach. So she does not like resemble medieval sounds at all, but you get the whole feel and atmosphere and stuff. And the singing is kind of theatrical at some point, and very interesting, very thrilling and captivating. So yeah, Olivia Louvel, Data Regina. And we're back at the tape scene here with Shrines from my mate Heinbach, Stefan Paul Götz from Berlin, which also has been playing in the audio lead band The Dance Inc. ages ago. This is why I know him, and I met him when he played at the Westwerk venue in Hamburg like a few weeks ago, and he was so kind to give me a copy of his newest album, which is Heinbach is the name of him as an artist, and Shrines is the album's name. Limited to 50 hand-numbered copies worldwide. Very, very great stuff. All like analog, modular synthesis and stuff. Both like electronica, ambient, also a little bit of IDM in here. So very interesting, like an hour long. So the hour like vanishes within like a very short time. So no lengthy. This album is not lengthy at all, but keeps you interested and excited all the time. So if you're like a tape collector and haven't seen this album around, Heinbach Shrines is definitely a recommendation and will be flying off the shelves soon, or at least out of his Bandcamp store. So he sells a lot of stuff via Bandcamp, so check this out. Next up is DJ Earl, Open Your Eyes on Tech Live, the second release on the Tech Live label. Very beautiful artwork by Ashes57. Here's the flip side, and yeah, the eye is very intense. And what we got here is, of course, juke and footwork, as you can expect from the Tech Live crew. Here's the flip side, 8 tracks on here, mostly collaborations with like Moon Doctor and Tato and DJ Manny and TJ and Susie Analog. Very recommended if you're into the Chicago footwork sound. This is definitely an album that is a must-have, and I guess it's also limited, but I don't remember. I guess 500 copies or so. And we got more stuff from the Tech Live crew. The Tech Live 03 New Start by Tato, which is surprisingly not that juke and footwork orientated, but broadens out the spectrum of what he does into like also dubstep and a little bit of old schoolish drum and bass and general like bass music. And also as a very last track, I guess, Da Capo Al Coda, which is DJ Tato and DJ Earl. It's like a very dope hip hop kind of beat with like bass music and stuff. And also there's a collaboration with DJ Rashad. The title track New Start has been produced by Rashad, or with Rashad, who has passed away too soon, like 2 years ago, I guess. So if you're a Rashad collector, you gotta check this out for sure. And I lost the download card here. And one of the most fascinating releases this month is also a very pretty one, like a silver silkscreen print on here. Here's the Flip Side and Records on Hinge Finger, and is Peter Manafeld. And the album is called Black Holes, or the album, not the single, is called Black Holes, or How We Lost Solidarity. Very, very exciting stuff, especially for the opening track, which is called Cry to Your Soul, which is like a fascinating piece. Like starting out with like noisy industrial rhythmic noise tracks, and like this mixed up with kind of broken techno, and all of a sudden, without any warning, you see like very happy old school piano chords popping up, and at first it sounds like there's two different records blended in together, and the speed of the records don't match exactly and stuff. But over the runtime of that specific track, things fall into place suddenly, and this is one of the most abstract and fascinating techno electronic music anthems I've heard in ages. Super hard to mix, and I call this like, well, I might open the drawer of like industrial rave for this kind of music, because within like the past 20 years of listening to electronic music and buying records extensively, I haven't heard a track like this, so very, very exciting. And also there's one tune which is more like a mixture of like proper techno and like speed garage, hardcore speed garage 4/4 bass lines, which is also very captivating, and some other good tunes. So Peter Manafeld on Hinge Finger, Black Holes, or How We Lost Solidarity is definitely a recommended release, and so is this one on Don't Recordings. Robert Armani Lumberyard Disco Tracks. Well, it's this way, and the handwriting of mine is this way. Interesting kind of compilation, 4-track compilation of 4 old Robert Armani tracks, which have been released ages ago on Dance Mania and ACV and other labels, I guess, and they've been remastered and recut and stuff, and now put together on this great, excellent EP. And if you know Robert Armani, you know the score, like distorted hardcore house and like a little bit of techno, very moving for the dance floor and stuff. Definitely recommend it to all those like loving the old school of electronic music and who've been around in the rave days of the 90s. So good stuff as well. Robert Armani on Don't Recordings, Lumberyard Disco Tracks, and this have been 10 releases which I like in February 2K17, and there is news coming up. I might go to Munich for a DJ set in early April, so Mr. Alice Picker, if you're listening to this or like watch this video, make sure you save the date. I'm gonna let you know directly when I'm gonna come and stuff, but further news on this development in a bit, and I will like drink a little glass of bourbon, I guess, to get my throat cleared and stuff right now. Go to editing and then upload the video very, very soon. So if you like this one, you know the score, give me a thumbs up. All the other stuff, forget about, like, subscribe, and yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, and I'm gonna talk to you in the next one. See you later.